You are now listening to Serious Minds RNTV with your host, Professor Griff. The call-in number is 516-654-7688. That's 516-654-7688. This is Professor Griff, and this is Serious Minds RNTV. Serious Minds for Serious Minds.
Peace, family. Are you tired of being denied life necessities such as cars, housing, and credit cards due to lack of credit history? Then if so, give Brother New a call today. Brother New will help you legally boost your credit score by adding seasoned trade lines. Brother New also does credit consultations. Make the change today. Call 504-276-2033 or visit TradelinesWithGamba.com.
Do your children love learning? At the Institute for Self-Mastery, we've been homeschooling for 10 years. We didn't just hop on this because of what's going on now. Check us out, the Institute for Self-Mastery, ismhomeschool.org. Peace.
The Serious Minds Brain Tonic was created to sharpen the mind by protecting cells and increasing neurotransmitters associated with learning and memory. This is the Serious Minds Brain Tonic. The Resurrection Formula. This male reproductive tonic elixir is the resurrection you've been looking for. It is a stimulating sexual tonic with mild androgen-like effects that is nourishing to the reproductive system. You can order them at www.professorgriff.me and www.seriousmindsinstitute.com. Just call 678-557-2919. Your health is your wealth. Peace.
Five, four, three, two, one.
In today's climate, being safe is priority number one. With crime on the rise, we're all left with this magical question: how can I be safe and protect my family? Well, Professor Griff is offering a course that's similar to laser tag, but it's for adults. This safe and firearm-free course will train you in real-life scenarios so that you can avoid being a victim. This course is growing in popularity as a date night out. Add fun and excitement back into your love life, and the reviews are incredible. For more information, call this number below.
Peace, greetings, everyone, greetings. Y'all already know this, Professor Grip, and I am on Serious Minds RNTV, and we are black. We did a 3 o'clock show, and now we're doing a 9 o'clock show, simply because we deemed it very necessary to continue the conversation that we was having about our good brother, Malcolm X. All right. So I'm not sure if you tuned in earlier. We were talking about Malcolm X. We were just kind of going over a few things, and we was kind of diving into the documentary film that I think Gil Noble was a part of back in the day. And so for this conversation, we're just going to highlight some things and talk about some things and bring you guys into the discussion. But in the meantime, between time, we are monitoring the chat room, and we will just show you individuals to the door. You young, foolish idiots out there who refuse to do any studying, who refuse to lend a positive word. Maybe you're working for the government, maybe you a troll, maybe you whatever, but not here, not tonight, not on Serious Minds, not at all. If you cannot find yourself or find anything in you to lend something positive to the conversation, to move the conversation forward in a progressive direction, save your comments for somebody else's show at somebody else's time. We will not have it. All right? That's the basic plain way I can kind of put it. All right? Okay. All right, so we're going to dive into this conversation. We're going to pick up where we kind of left off. All right, so we're going to move some things around, shuffle some things around, and see whether or not we can dive back into the conversation. Earlier, we talked about the whole idea of what Malcolm came from, his family, his parents, what organization they belonged to, how Malcolm X became Malcolm X, from Malcolm Little to Malcolm X, this transitionary period, transformative period. What was that information that Malcolm X got a hold to that transformed him from Malcolm Little, the pimp, the hustler, the gambler, the weed smoker, and all these things that he was doing in the street, coming from Omaha, Nebraska, finding his way into New York and other places, and becoming the man that you know as Malcolm X. We should kind of look at his life and apply it to our family members' lives, apply it to our lives. What transformed us from the pig-eating Christians that we were into who we are today. And I'm not sure if you're still a pig-eating Christian. You might be. I'm not sure. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. All right? So look at that as a transformative kind of period that we all kind of like have come to. So shout out to the Serious Minds family right here on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. And if you would like to donate, like our good sister Nima, I think her name is Naima Simmons. Naima Simmons, if you're listening, thank you very much. I really appreciate your donation, sis. All right, thank you. And thank you. Again, Daryl Nix, thank you very much. Duan, thank you very much. Duan, Miss Devika, thank you very much. Little Goddess, Hakeem J, thank you very much. John, thank you. And the commercial that y'all have been hearing as of late, Brother New, hopefully we can have him on to talk about what he's offering in reference to credit repair and that kind of thing. All right. So thank y'all very much for supporting the cause. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Really appreciate that, fam. All right. Thank you for everyone on IG for tuning in every single time you get the notification. Thank y'all very, 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 very much. I don't know if y'all know how difficult it is to have IG over here on a whole separate device, and then YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope over here. All right. So thank y'all very much for supporting the cause. Shout out to Quan, who's not in the building as of yet. Maybe she might tune in, maybe she might not. Jazz9, what's good? All right. 217 Exchange, thank you very much. All right. Let's dive right back into it, fam. May 19th is the born day for our good brother, Malcolm X. All right. We understand Malcolm went to Mecca. We understand that Malcolm formed his own organizations. We understand that Malcolm X was in the nation for 12 years, out of the nation for 1 year. All right. We're just talking about the Malcolm X that you knew. All right. And if anyone is wrestling with the trials and tribulations of what Malcolm X went through in and outside of the nation, look at it as a lesson for you. And let's see where you were and where you are in your understanding of these things. Let's look at all of the people that the Nation of Islam produced that affected our lives, which we went over earlier. All right. Let's look at some of the things that was given to Malcolm and passed through Malcolm by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And Malcolm X he's probably one of the main figures that kind of stood up and stood out to you. But there was a few dozen ministers that came out of the ranks of the Nation of Islam that set things on fire. All right, that helped change the landscape of, what we know to be hip-hop music, what we know to be Black consciousness, what we know to be how people teach and even how people debate. We pulled these things from some of those ministers that came up out of the ranks of the Nation of Islam. We'll dive in that. We'll deal with some of the other things a little bit later on. All right. All right, let's talk. I'm going to share my screen, the family. Everybody on IG, I'm not sure how this is going to sound to y'all, but we're over here on YouTube and we're watching a film clip, and the film clip is called Make It Plain. All right, Make It Plain. You can find it on YouTube, but we're just kind of diving into that and some of the other speeches of what Malcolm gave us, and we just kind of dissecting them, going over it, discussing it. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Come on over to YouTube. That's www.youtube.com/the letter C/Serious Minds RNTV. All right. Let's talk.
Les événements de la mosquée de Los Angeles font ressortir les divergences croissantes entre Malcolm X et Elijah Muhammad. Le messager assure qu'Allah vengera la mort de Stokes. Malcolm, lui, demande justice devant un tribunal.
If it were possible for them to get a fair trial, there would be no necessity for a trial at all. These are the victims of police bullets. And you don't take the victim in court as a criminal. You take the one who shot the victim in court. And it is the police who should be on trial here in Los Angeles.
Pour Malcolm, ce n'était plus Dieu qui allait nous débarrasser des Blancs.
All right, we're not going to be able to do the French subtitles. Hold on. Yeah, that's just sounding kind of...
And he began to talk about
Il était de plus en plus convaincu.
Yeah, we can't do the French subtitles. Hold on for a second. Malcolm X. Make it plain. Hold on. We're going to do it like this here, fam. All right, hold on. Hold on. All right, for PBS documentary. We were right, I think. Y'all got to come on over to YouTube. Everybody on IG, come on.
Who taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask, yourself who taught you to hate being what God gave you.
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called us, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day, while the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor. He was telling you to build your own house.
He expelled fear for African Americans. He says, I will speak out loud what we've been thinking. And he said, you'll see, people will hear it and they will not do anything to us necessarily, okay? But I will now speak it for the masses of people. When he said it in a very strong fashion, in this very manly fashion, in this fashion that says, I am not afraid to say what you've been thinking all these years. That's why we loved him. He said it out loud, not behind closed doors. He took on America for us.
And I, for one, as a Muslim, believe that the white man is intelligent enough. If he were made to realize how black people really feel and how fed up we are without that old compromise and sweet talk, why, you're the one that make it hard for yourself. The white man believes you when you go to him with that old sweet talk, because you've been sweet talking him ever since he brought you here. Stop sweet talking him. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what kind of hell you've been catching, and let him know that if he's not ready to clean his house up, if he's not ready to clean his house up, he shouldn't have a house. It should catch on fire and burn down.
All right, for the people that's just joining us, hold on. For the people that's just joining us, we are watching Malcolm X Make It Plain. All right, Malcolm X, Make It Plain. All right, so follow along with me. Write down some questions. Let's dialogue. This is not going to be long. I'm going to skip through some things, but we need a firm, fundamental understanding of our brother Malcolm X. Today is his born day. And sadly enough, today, Paul Mooney made his transition. All right. And to my knowledge, death comes in threes. So, yeah, this pandemic, these viruses, this way we live, these preventable diseases and deaths. Yeah, we got to start taking charge of our own lives and our own destiny. All right, so let's dive back into this and we'll get into a discussion in a few minutes. All right.
On these Harlem street corners, for most of this century, Black people had celebrated their culture and argued the question of race in America. It was here that Malcolm first joined the street orators who gave voice to Harlem's hope and its anger.
I've taught nationalism, and that means that I want to go out of this white man's country because integration will never happen. You'll never, as long as you live, integrate into the white man's system.
125th Street and 7th Avenue was the center of activity among the Black street orators. When Malcolm arrived, technically he had no corner. So he established his base, you might say, in front of Elder Mishaw's bookstore.
When Malcolm would ascend the little platform, he couldn't talk for the first 4 or 5 minutes. The people would be making such a praise shout to him. And he would stand there, taking his due. And then he would open his mouth.
They call Mr. Muhammad a hate teacher because he makes you hate dope and alcohol. They call Mr. Muhammad a black supremacist because he teaches you and me not only that we're as good as the white man, but better than the white man. Yes, better than the white man. You are better than the white man. And that's not saying anything. That's not saying, you know where just to be equal with him. Who is he to be equal with? You look at his skin. You can't compare your skin with his skin. While your skin look like gold beside his skin. There was a time when we used to drool in the mouth over white people. We thought they were pretty because we were blind. We were dumb. We couldn't see them as they are. But since the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has come and taught us the religion of Islam, which has cleaned us up and made us so we can see for ourselves, now we can see that old pale thing to look exactly as he looked. Nothing but an old pale thing.
I came away from that rally feeling that with him, once you heard him speak, you never went back to where you were before. You had to, even if you kept your position, you had to rethink it.
We weren't accustomed to being told that we were devils and that we were oppressors up here in our wonderful northern cities. He was speaking for a silent mass of Black people and saying it out front on the devil's own airwaves. And that was an act of war.
When he came off the stage, I jumped off the island, walked up to him. And of course, when I got to him, the bodyguards, moved in front, and he just pushed them away. And I went in front of him and extended my hand and said, I liked some of what you said. I didn't agree with all that you said, but I liked some of what you said. And he looked at me, held my hand in a very gentle fashion and says, one day you will, sister. One day you will, sister. And he smiled.
To make his message clear, Malcolm used his own life as a lesson for all Black Americans.
All right, let me just pause this. All right, family, let's dialogue. From what you've heard so far, this is part of a PBS special. This is part Malcolm X Make It Plain. We're gonna watch a few more clips, but you can go on YouTube and watch it yourself. And I think this is a good place for us to begin to have this particular discussion. With that said, whoa, hold on. With that said, how should we view and how should we kind of wrap our minds around what Malcolm said then? Is it applicable to today? Is it applicable? Is it applicable today? Hold on. Is it applicable to today? I received a very challenging text message. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to tell you who it's from. But this individual said, I am a Caucasian man from Cleveland, and I would do anything to hear your wisdom. I'm worried. I was born without a soul. Now my third eye has been opened. I just need some answers. If I'm wrong, am I wrong for being white? Not going to tell you the gentleman's name.
That's all I'm going to give you about, and I'm not going to read the whole text message. I'm not going to read the dialogue that we had going back and forth. Am I wrong for being born white? So help me out, because a lot of people then and a lot of people now cannot handle some of the things that Elijah Muhammad taught and then gave to his ministers to teach the rest of us. And one of those things is what Malcolm blasted from the rostrum. He blasted the fact that the white race is a race of devils. So he called white people devils. And you heard the gentleman from Illinois basically say, yeah, he was talking to basically a silent masses of black people that had no voice. And he was trying to educate people on who white people are. So can white people help that they were born white? Thank you. He said, that's for God to answer. I like that. I like that answer. That's for God to answer. We are facilitating a conversation. We're just asking some questions for you to now think. All right? All right. These are serious questions. These are serious, very serious questions. All right? So we're kind of posing this and putting this information out there just to have people ask themselves the question. Can they help that they were born white? And below the surface of the skin, are we all the same? Are we all humans? These are some of the questions that, that are posed to me. Hold on for a second. Give thanks, Brother Henry Beasley. Really appreciate you. All right. I got the information about Paul Mooney. And I got the conspiracy theory people and all these other people. All right. If you're texting me about you being a Muslim and you being targeted, join the club, because all of us are being targeted. Malcolm X, his grandson and his murder. Okay. We're going to get into the murder and the assassination of Brother Malcolm. Some aspects of his assassination given to us by Dick Gregory and other people. There was a film that was made recently, The Murder, I think The Killing of Malcolm X, which shed light on a lot of things. And everyone that blamed it on the Nation of Islam got real quiet all of a sudden, because the brother took years out of his life and did some extensive research and actually tracked down the people. And those that was accusing the nation got real quiet. Those of the people that was doing so accused the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan got real quiet. So let's dive back into the documentary film and we'll come back and we'll talk, family. All right?
And later, in writing his autobiography with Alex Haley, he sought some control over how his life would be interpreted in the future.
I would be rather taken by a statement he would make of himself. He would say, I am a part of all I have met. And by that, he meant that all the things he had done in his earlier life had exposed him to things, had taught him skills of one another sort of, all of which had synthesized into the Malcolm who became the spokesman for the Nation of Islam.
You were born in Omaha, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And your family left Omaha when you were what, 1 year old?
I imagine about a year old.
And why did they leave Omaha?
Well, to my understanding, the Ku Klux Klan burned down one of their homes in Omaha. They had a lot of Ku Klux
This made your family feel very unhappy, I'm sure.
Well, insecure, if not unhappy.
So you must have a somewhat prejudiced point of view, a personally prejudiced point of view. In other words, you cannot look at this in a broad academic sort of way, really.
I think that's incorrect, because despite the fact that happened in Omaha, and then when we moved to Lansing, Michigan, our home was burned down again. In fact, my father was killed by the Ku Klux Klan. And despite all of that, No one was more thoroughly integrated with whites than I. No one has lived more so in the society of whites than I.
We were the only black children in the neighborhood. But on the back of our property, we had a wooded area. So the white kids would all come over to our house and they'd go back and play in the woods. So Malcolm would say, well, let's go play Robin Hood. Well, so we'd go back there to play Robin Hood. Robin Hood was Malcolm. So, and these white kids would go along with it.
Malcolm said he was the lightest skinned of the 7 children born to Earl and Louise Little. A reminder, he said, of the white man who had raped his mother's mother. In 1929, when Malcolm was 4 years old, his father, a carpenter and preacher, moved the family to Lansing, Michigan.
Lansing was a small town, and the west side was the side of town that blacks lived on. Malcolm and his family lived outside of the city, and they had a 4-acre parcel with a small house on it. So they were sort of considered as farmers.
3 months after the Littles moved in, white neighbors took legal action to evict them. A county judge ruled that the farm property was restricted to whites only. But Earl Little refused to move. Here in Michigan, Ku Klux Klan membership was at least 70,000, 5 times more than in Mississippi. For Malcolm's family, white hostility was a fact of life.
Everybody was asleep in our house, and all of a sudden we heard a big boom. And when we woke up, fire was everywhere. And everybody was running into the walls and into each other, you know.
Well, what I recall about that was my mother telling us to get up, get up, get up, the house is on fire, and to get out. That's what I actually recall.
I could hear my mother yelling, I hear my father yelling, and so they made sure they got us all rounded up and got us out.
The house burned down to the ground. No fire wagon came, nothing. And we were burned out.
Malcolm's father, Earl Little, accused local whites of setting the fire. The police accused Earl and arrested him on suspicion of arson. The charges were later dropped.
In the city where we grew up, whites would refer to us as those uppity niggers, or the smart niggers that live out south of town. In those days, whenever a white person referred to you as a smart nigger, that was their way of saying, this is a nigger you have to watch because he's not dumb.
My father was independent. He didn't want anybody to feed him. He wanted to raise his own food. He didn't want anybody to exercise authority over his children. He wanted to exercise the authority, and he did.
He was always speaking in terms of Marcus Garvey's way of thinking and trying to get black people to organize themselves, not to cause any trouble, but just to work in unity with each other toward improving their conditions. But in those days, if you did that, you were still considered a troublemaker.
In the 1920s, Marcus Garvey, a black nationalist, preached that black Americans should build a nation independent of white society. With membership in the hundreds of thousands, Garvey's Universal Negro Improvement Association sought closer ties with African countries. The UNIA had its own flag, its own national anthem, and an African Legion pledged to defend black people at home and abroad. The U.S. Bureau of Investigation labeled Garvey one of the prominent Negro agitators. The federal government deported him in 1927, but Malcolm's parents remained Garveyites. Earl recruited new members. Louise wrote for the Garvey newspaper.
All right, family. All right. Let's just take a pause right there. So let's dialogue. So his house was burned down by the Ku Klux Klan. They accused Malcolm's brother of doing it, arrested him. So ain't that something? You have a place that was only reserved for whites only, but now you're living in the place. They're trying to force you to move so they burn you out. What does that sound like? What's happening today? When I was a kid in the early 80s, the KKK came to my hometown just to talk about, hold on, just to talk about rights, but it didn't go well. The Geechee Gullahs almost killed them. It was on the news. They said they would never return. The Geechee Gullahs. Okay, got that. All right. Shout out to John Trey. Shout out to my man B Son. What's good? All right. Sounds like gentrification to me. Thank you, Ricky Gatlin. All right. Sounds like gentrification. Sounds like redlining. Right? Gentrification. Redlining. Same tactics. Different day. They are killing and breeding us out. Okay? They need police reform and department reform in the 1920s. Okay? And are you saying that that's the same thing they need today? So these are the conversations that I think we need to have, especially on the birthday of our good brother, Malcolm X. At least go over the man's life and get a basic understanding of the man. So that when you hear some of the nonsense, you can kind of correct it and begin to have a healthy discussion about our brother. All right, let's dive back into it, fam. We just piecing it apart. That's all.
My mother is the one who would read to us the Garvey paper, which was called The Negro World. And she also would talk to us about ourselves as being independent. We shouldn't be calling ourselves Negroes or niggers, and that we were black people, and that we should be proud to call ourselves black people.
What is your real name?
Malcolm X.
Is that your legal name?
As far as I'm concerned, it's my legal name.
Would you mind telling me what your father's last name was?
My father didn't know his last name. My father got his last name from his grandfather, and his grandfather got it from his grandfather, who got it from the slave master. The real names of our people were destroyed during slavery.
Was there any line, any point in the genealogy of your family when you did have to use the last name? And if so, what was it?
The last name of my forefathers was taken from them when they were brought to America and made slaves. And then the name of the slave master was given, which we refused. We reject that name today.
You mean you won't even tell me what your father's supposed last name was or gifted last name was?
I never acknowledge it whatsoever.
September 1931. Malcolm was 6 years old when his mother had a premonition.
We were all at the house and we had supper together. And my mother was holding Wesley, who was my youngest brother. And she may have been nursing him because she was at the table and she fell asleep, holding the baby. And my father had gotten up and went in the bedroom to clean up, to go down and collect money. And she woke up and she said, Earl, don't go downtown. She said, if you go, you won't come back.
That night, around 11 o'clock, Earl Little was found in an isolated area outside Lansing. His body almost cut in two by the wheels of a streetcar. The police reported Earl Little's death an accident.
There was a cloud over that whole issue because at the time it was perceived that rather than an accident with a streetcar, that Earl Little had really been pushed under the wheels of the streetcar. As a matter of fact, I remember hearing just that language, that he was probably pushed under the wheels of that streetcar.
My father's death caused a great, great shock in the family because he was the power. He was the strength. We were organized. We were a structured family. When I get out of school, when we got out of school, me and my brothers and sisters, we'd come right home and go to work in the garden, clean up the chicken shed and get ready for the night. And get up in the morning and all this. We pump the water and bring it in the house and all this. This was while Dad was alive. Because to not do this brought the consequence of a whipping. So we were disciplined. And then after my father got killed and my mother's inability to run as fast as I could run, or Malcolm, enabled us to get away with a lot of things we wouldn't have tried to get away with. So we got looser and looser.
Louise Little struggled to raise her 7 children through the years of the Great Depression.
She's reduced to where she has no income. She got jobs. She was a proud lady. She had a lot of pride. She sewed. She crocheted gloves for people. She did a lot of things, not to be dependent solely on welfare. She didn't like them telling her what she could do and what she couldn't do.
And this is one of the main things that devastated her more than anything else. As time went by, you could see she was wearing down.
For 7 years, as Malcolm grew into adolescence, his mother slowly withdrew from her family. 2 days before Christmas, 1938, Louise Little was diagnosed as paranoid and was sent to Kalamazoo State Hospital.
And I came home from school one day, and she wasn't there. I can remember being empty because my mother had never left us. And I felt, the pain of her being gone every day. And it was only going to be a couple weeks. She was going to get better and come right back home. And it turned into years.
Louise Little would remain at Kalamazoo for the next 26 years. The 13-year-old Malcolm watched as the courts split up his family, assigning the younger children to foster homes in Lansing and sending him to a white community 10 miles away.
In the past, the greatest weapon the white man has had has been his ability to divide and conquer. If I take my hand and slap you, you don't even feel it. It might sting you because these digits are separated. But all I have to do to put you back in your place is bring those digits together.
Here was a man who, in the 8th grade in Michigan, a school where I think he was the only black in his class and one of the very few in the school, had been an outstanding straight A student, who had been, in fact, the president of his class. And all the others were white in the 8th grade. Obviously, he had to be exceptional to be those things. And then you had the Malcolm who had left school and who had gone to Roxbury, Massachusetts, where he had gotten his first exposure to what might loosely be called hustling.
Malcolm X had come into Boston and he had on his zoot suit with the wide brim hat, with the long 3/4 length coat, with the chain that went down to your ankles. I don't know, the last time I recall, Cab Calloway used that outfit for his stage uniform.
Now, when Malcolm left Lansing, he had nothing but an old square suit on, white man suit, as I call it. When he came back from Boston, oh, Lord, Malcolm had a zoot suit on and a wide brim hat, a chain from his hat down into his lapel, and he was the talk of the town. Everybody was talking about Malcolm.
All right, let's kind of talk. All right, family. So talk to me. What are y'all? Give me some. Let's. Dr. Khalid El Hakim. What's good, man? Hold on, Khalid. Peace, Khalid. What's good, bro? We just going over Malcolm's life, celebrating the life of Malcolm X, El Haj Malik El Shabazz. And we just talking about some things. So I contacted you earlier to see whether or not if you wanted to share some of the artifacts that you have and just have a brief discussion. So Khalid, let me know. I can bring you on. Just kind of let me know. Give me a heads up. I'll send you a link to come on. All right. Oh, you saw you saw Shorty on the video, right? So let me know, Khalid. All right. All right. So we just going over the life of Malcolm, celebrating the life of Malcolm. This documentary film, make it plain, is about 2 hours. We not gonna be here 2 hours. All right. We just kind of going over some things, giving you an understanding of what made Malcolm X. All right. So just to give people an idea, that's it. That's it. To give you a sneak peek into the life of Malcolm when he was Malcolm Little. Then when he became Detroit Red. All right. When he was a hustler, a pimp, a thief, and all these other kind of things. He spent time in jail, got out, and transformed the word of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Transformed his life. I'm gonna send you a link, Khalid. Hold on. Check your email in a few minutes. Hold on, bro. So we're just celebrating the life of our good brother. That's it. I see a lot of trolls that are on making crazy ass comments, but yeah, they'll be all right. They will be okay. We're not gonna entertain them, but they're gonna be all right. I don't know about what else they're gonna do, but we just not gonna entertain them. I think a lot of times, I don't know who these people are behind the scenes doing what they do and how they do it. But I already knew this kind of conversation would bring out the worst in people. Sometimes it brings out the best in people. All right. Peace, Imhotep 17. All right. So, yeah. So we're talking about the life of our good brother Malcolm X, since today is his born day, May 19th. All right. Last year, this time, I released my my album, The Energy Code. All right, to sync up with the spirit and the vibration of this particular time of year. All right, in celebration of our good brother, Malcolm X. All right. What do I think about white folks quoting Malcolm? White folks have always quoted black people. So that ain't nothing new. They tried to dance like us, move like us. So yeah, that is nothing new. Yeah, if you read Wikipedia and some of these other, they write Malcolm X in as a civil rights leader. And Malcolm X ain't never been no damn civil rights leader. So we have to understand they have to make Malcolm pliable and pliant for white consumption. All right. I wore this shirt out today, and you should saw some of the looks that I got. But ask me if I give a rat's ass. Y'all already know I don't. You understand what I'm saying? They already know who Malcolm X is. And they know Malcolm X wasn't no civil rights leader. All right. So, Colin, I sent you the link already. Check your email. Hank, what's good? What's happening with you? You all right? All right. I called Alex Haley because he was one of the players around Rooster. Look at that. Okay. All right. So we're adding on and we're building tonight and celebrating the life of our good brother, Malcolm X. All right. We're waiting for our good brother Khalid to come on for a few minutes. Dr. Khalid El Hakim, which I'll be with him on Saturday, celebrating him, actually confirming the fact that he's a doctor now. I guess I gotta refer to him as Dr. Khalid El Hakim. All right, I'm still gonna call him Stanley. But oh yeah, he's kind of busted me. He heard that. But anyway, we're gonna bring him on. Peace, man. What's good, bro?
Peace, man. All is good. It's good to see you, bro.
Turn your mic on.
Mic on. This is my first time doing this.
Glasses, that bro. You getting older? Get them glasses.
I know.
I
don't.
Turn your mic on. Oh man, come on! You did something else. Turn the mic on, man. Come on. You can do it, Khalid. I know you can, bro. You put them glasses on, bro. All right, add to
Yo, here I am. I got it now.
Still can't hear you. Hold on, man. Hold on. Hold on. All right, I unmuted your mic. Turn your volume up because we can't hear you.
All right, can you hear me?
Hold on. All right, say something now.
Peace.
All right, we got you.
All right, good, man. Yeah, it's my first time on this platform here, but thanks for having me on, bro. It's good to see you, man.
It was nice seeing you, man. But I'm gonna see you, inshallah. I'll see you on Saturday, right?
Yes, sir. Inshallah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a funky good time. Tell your moms I'm on my way, bro, for real.
She's looking forward to seeing you.
Bring my dancing shoes and everything.
Right?
I can't dance a lick, but I'm gonna bring them. So what's
yeah.
going on? Talk to me, man.
Yeah, man. So as we celebrate Malcolm's birthday today, I want to share a couple things with you all. And I haven't shared screens on here before, so I'm going to see if I can make this work. Here we go.
Let me bring that up. Hold on. Add to the. All right, I just brought it up.
All right, can you see that picture there?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this picture was taken in 1963 in Harlem. I'm going to show a series of about 4 pictures for you all. And these are unpublished photos. And although some people might have seen these pictures before, but definitely not from these angles and from this individual.
Right.
So these pictures are beautiful pictures of our brother Malcolm X. And he was still in the ranks at this time. And he's just electrifying the audience here in Harlem. And perhaps some people online here might be able to identify the FOI that's standing here with him. But I'm not familiar with the 2 brothers right here.
Okay.
But look at this crowd picture here, man. Look at how they're engaged and captured,
right,
by his magnetism, man. I mean, these are just everyday people in Harlem, man. It's just stopping to see our brother Malcolm, man. And this is just a powerful picture that gives you a sense of the type of man he was and the type of respect people had when they heard his voice. You know, young, old men and women. It's a very, very powerful picture. All eyes on him. And then we got the mighty FOI right here. And this is just a beautiful picture as well. And it's very interesting that these photographs were taken by actually a young Jewish guy in his mid-20s in Harlem, who was just fascinated with the Black Muslim movement. And he was just interested in just taking pictures in general. But this movement actually captured his attention, and he captured these powerful pictures of this movement. And so I'm always surprised to let people know that it was actually a 20-year-old Bert Shavitz who was a part of a co-founder of Burt's Bees Lip Balm. So who took those pictures back when he was about 24, I think. He just had a camera in hand and was documenting that movement at the time. And and this is before he had any idea that he was going to go and start this lip balm product. So so that's the first thing I wanted to share with you all. And then secondly, I can't even remember what year this was. Had to be a good 15 years ago or so. I had the opportunity to purchase, and you just showed Malcolm Shorty Jarvis on Make It Plain, the documentary. But unfortunately, like many of our greats and many of our notables, when when our people become ancestors, unfortunately, we don't have an exit plan in terms of how our legacy is going to be kept. And in his case, his personal effects, his art documented his life, ended up in a storage unit in Connecticut and ended up on auction, like Auction Wars that comes on TV. His stuff ended up going up for auction about 15 years ago. And I got a phone call from a white guy in Massachusetts who bought that storage unit and asked me to purchase it along with a brother from the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation out in Omaha, Nebraska. So we put our resources together because the guy who bought the unit, he saw that the material that he purchased was historically significant. He kept on seeing Malcolm X's name over and over in the material. And he said that he wasn't going to break it up and sell it individually, which he easily could have and made a lot of money from it. But he gave us the opportunity to keep these things together and purchase it. So I ended up purchasing it with my brother Sharif Lawaru, who was the president of the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation at the time. And we got probably, I would say, over 1,000 pieces from of Malcolm Shorty Jarvis. Wow. But one of the significant pieces from that collection is this document right here, which is, I'm not sure if you all can see it, but just to let you all know what it is, this is the actual court paper that sent him and Malcolm X to prison.
Wow.
All right. And on this document, just real quick, it lists the items that were stolen and when they committed this larceny. So they stole jewelry, articles of clothing, some clocks, some money, less than $4 that they stole from this guy. And it also lists the women who are a part of this too. And these two women, their sentence was suspended for 2 years. They had a 2-year sentence that was suspended. And one of them went on probation for 2 years. But Malcolm, both Malcolms they went to the state pen for a term of not exceeding 10 years or less than 8 years and 1 day solitary confinement. And it says that this sentence is to be served concurrently with the sentence imposed this day in February 27th, 1946. But yeah, it gives the details to what happened here. But this is an amazing document in one of quite a few documents that I got from Malcolm Shorty Jarvis. And as many of us know, Shorty was a trumpet player. Right. And so I have his trumpet. And we also a concerto that he wrote while he was in prison. And Malcolm actually mentions that concerto in the autobiography of Malcolm X. So we have that concerto as well, the handwritten concerto. And I also have Malcolm Shorty Jarvis's autobiography, the manuscript as well as the finished product as well. Dr. Cornel West wrote the introduction to his book. So, he went on and became a jazz musician and lived a very rich life. And a lot of his later years, he always referenced, it was always interviewed about his relationship to Malcolm X. Right. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you all, Griffin.
Yeah, just for the people that don't know, let people know who you are and exactly what's the name of your company and what you do.
Yes, sir. So my name is, again, Dr. Khalid El Hakim. I'm the founder of a project called the Black History 101 Mobile Museum. And the Black History 101 Mobile Museum, this year, we're celebrating 30 years of collecting. All right. And over the past 30 years, I've acquired over 10,000 artifacts of original Black memorabilia, things that date as far back as the transatlantic slave trade, all the way up to hip hop culture. So I collect a little bit of everything. And if you can hold the line for just a minute, man, I'd like to show you some of the new acquisitions, man.
Yeah, we can definitely hold the line.
Yeah, let me hold the line. I'll be right back.
What's up? All right, cool. I've been working with Khalid now. I'll check it. I've been working with Khalid now for 18 of those 30 years that he's been collecting. And we've traveled and zigzagged across the country. I don't know how many universities, I don't know how many colleges, I don't know how many elementary schools that we've kind of been to over the last 18 years that I've been with him. I was just on in a classroom the other day, a virtual classroom with Omari Bakshir. And we traveled with Omari and a few other people, Dumini, Jessica Care Moore, Tasleen, Jamila, and a few other people that we travel with. So I've been part of the Black History Mobile Museum now for 18 years out of the 30 that Khaled has been collecting. And it's been a ride. How many schools, how many colleges, how many states?
Man, we've been to 41 states in well over 1,000 venues throughout the United States.
Right.
So we've been putting this work in. Right. So today, also being Malcolm X's birthday, is also the celebration 52nd anniversary of the Last Poets.
Okay.
So this is and they were founded May 19th, 1968, I believe it was, right after the death of King. But they came together on Malcolm X's birthday, and the rest was history. It came together at Mount Morris Park in New York.
I've been to Mount Morris Park.
Yeah. There's Marcus Garvey now, right?
I think I was there with you.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. So this is a 45 from the Last Poets. They're OD.
Oh, okay.
And on here we have Umar bin Hassan, Jalal Nuruddin, and the drummer and Elijah.
Right.
So that's a very rare piece from the archive of the Last Poets that I have. And some of these things here might be familiar to you. So one of the things that we've been doing for the past couple of years is doing a hip hop exhibit. So the latest hip hop exhibit was on the campus of Saginaw Valley University over the past several months, the past 3 months. And we had 170 artifacts on display. Griff came out to that event. Umar bin Hassan from the Last Poets came out, and they brought students in for over the course of about 3 months to experience this exhibit.
Right.
But since then, I got a call from a museum down in Little Rock, Arkansas, that's about to bring that exhibit down for 3 months next year.
Wow.
April, May, and June of next year, they're bringing it down. But I wanted to beef up that exhibit as well. I really wanted to blow people away. And, to be honest, we blew people away on this one. But I just wanted to make it just grow even more. So one thing I'm collecting right now are tour jackets from hip hop artists. All right. So this one here, you might be familiar with that one, Griff.
Yep.
This is one of the original joints.
Right. The original jackets. Right.
Yeah, so got this one here that will be on display in this new exhibit. Gotta give a shout out to LL Cool J, who just became the newest inductee to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
Got one of his jackets.
One of his jackets. People. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things are rare, bro.
Right. You might be familiar with this as well.
Oh yeah, original Def Jam joints, man.
Yeah.
Bag, bro. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then bring it a little up to date, and we gotta have a conversation about this one.
Kanye West.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
we gotta have a conversation with Kanye about this. Yeah. But the fact that these things were even produced at all,
right?
They tell a story that we have to put an interpretation on, and have conversations with our people about the contributions that we've made, because we made some incredible contributions, and these jackets alone speak to the multi-billion-dollar industry that young Black folks coming out of New York made over 50 years ago now. So and these jackets just are part of that legacy. All right, and just through jackets alone, we can have an incredible story that can be told. So, yeah, man. So I'm just honored to be able to do this work. I'm blessed that Allah has put me on this road, and I'm blessed that He's put you in on this road with me as well. And as we celebrate Malcolm, I know for me personally, I cannot express enough about how the autobiography of Malcolm X had an impact on my life. And it was because of me listening to hip hop in the 80s that I was even introduced to Malcolm X on this type of level. You know what I'm saying? So the autobiography of Malcolm X was not being taught in the K through 12 experience back in 1987, in my experience. Right. You know, it might have been in some other, you know, more conscious type of areas or some conscious types of schools, but in my experience, it was not. So I didn't pick up the autobiography of Malcolm X until I listened to Public Enemy and KRS-One.
Right.
So but from there, you know, it was on and popping, man. It just opened up a whole new world for me.
Right. It's a beautiful thing. We really appreciate you. We know you can't stay on long, and really appreciate you. And some of those rare things, I think people need to find out where you're going to be, where you're setting up, so they can see some of these rare artifacts. You're not going to meet too many people like you that collect and can tell the story about our history and have people come and physically see tangibles, physically see some of the things that tell the story. If we just left the stuff on the table or behind some glass somewhere, it tells its own story. But
right.
Be there and you tell the story of some of these items. It's just, yeah, I mean, until this day, man, one of the rare pieces that you've given me, the Manila, yeah, I still have it right over here. You understand what I'm saying? Sure. And I see it every day as a reminder of not only the work that you do, the work that you've invited me to do and allowed me to do with you over the 18 years, and just the work that we've been called to do together.
Yes, sir. It's been a beautiful road, bro.
Yeah.
And it's still, I mean, and we need more people out here doing it. You know what I'm saying? We cannot have enough exhibits out here on the road doing the work because the task at hand is so overwhelming, man. So I'm always making calls to people, man. Let's go out here and reach our people where they are and help raise the consciousness of our people.
Right. Jackson Harlem said the Manila. How'd you know, Jackson? Who are you that you know that? Must be somebody hiding behind that screen right there. But anyway, it's been a beautiful thing. Really appreciate you, good bro.
All right, bro. I'll see you this weekend in Detroit, man.
Inshallah. Peace.
Inshallah. Peace.
All right. Thanks, fam. That was Dr. Khalid El Akeem from the Black History 101 Mobile Museum, of which I am the national director of for the last 18 years. All right. You're right. Rest in power, Paul Mooney. And brothers and sisters, like Khalid said, we need more people telling this story, man. Telling our story. All right. Telling our story. He's doing it through collecting artifacts. All right. And I've been part of that work for 18 years. And it just doesn't stop there. So much so that I've learned to admire what Dr. Khalid El Akeem, what he does. And able to put together many collectibles to show people. And the next time I'm setting up, the museum is on Juneteenth in Florida. So contact me at 678-557-2919. If you're in the Florida area, come check out the Black History 101 Mobile Museum. I'm going to bring 200 pieces to set up, and we're going to talk. Listen, family, I got to go. I love y'all to life. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all. I really appreciate the small donations that y'all give to keep this thing moving. I really appreciate y'all's participation, and thank y'all very much for bearing with me. And I forgot to say congratulations, Dr. Khalid, on you becoming a doctor. All right. So and your wife, as a matter of fact, all right, for graduating. Wow. So thank y'all very much, and inshallah I will see y'all tomorrow night. All right. Y'all take care of yourselves, and long live the spirit of Malcolm X, man. All right. Tomorrow we're going to talk about Paul Mooney, and we're going to dive into his life and some of the things, some of those stories that we kind of figure out. What have we learned from conscious comedians like Paul Mooney? All right. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. This is Professor Griff for Serious Minds RNTV. All right. Shout out to Dr. Khalid El Akeem Kwan. Thanks for everyone that supports the platform, the channel. Really appreciate that. Shout out to Kwan. I know you enjoying yourself. John Trey, B-Son, the enemy's public. Thank y'all very much for supporting the platform. It's Professor Griff, and I am out. Peace, fam. Peace.
The Serious Minds Brain Tonic was created to sharpen the mind by protecting cells and increasing neurotransmitters associated with learning and memory. This is the Serious Minds Brain Tonic. The Resurrection Formula. This male reproductive tonic elixir is the resurrection you've been looking for. It is a stimulating sexual tonic with mild androgen-like effects that is nourishing to the reproductive system. You can order them at www.professorgriff.me and www.seriousmindsinstitute.com. Just call 678-557-2919. Your health is your wealth. Peace.
Peace, family. Are you tired of being denied life necessities such as cars, housing, and credit cards due to lack of credit history? Then if so, give Brother New a call today. Brother New will help you legally boost your credit score by adding seasoned trade lines. Brother New also does credit consultations. Make the change today. Call 504-276-2033 or visit tradelineswithgamba.com.